In August of 1987, something extraordinary happened. The Earth paused, the stars aligned, and thousands of souls, old souls, remembered. They were called the 144,000, prophesied in ancient texts, whispered by seers and sages. Their awakening would signal the beginning of a new time. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at a very important subject, spiritual history that we've been living through and the outcomes of where we're going. So the return of the sky gods and what happened to the 144,000 that were aligned and awakened. Let us see how this all unfolded, and it first starts with the entrance of Halley's Comet in 1986, making its appearance in the night sky. So we all know that when a comet enters our atmosphere, it releases cosmic dust particles. So as in ancient times, the Maya knew that the comets would bring periods of change, transformation, a revolution, a renaissance. So we can see even last year there was the Devil's Comet, and look at the changes that have been taking place in the world just from that one event. So this comet in 86 set the stage, the energy for what was coming. And then in 1987 there was the Harmonic Convergence organized by Jose Orqueles. This sacred Harmonic Convergence had people meditating all over the world, from Arizona, in Peru, Mexico, South Africa, Europe, all over the world. 144,000 people gathered to align and awaken and bring in this new cosmic energy that would start to shift consciousness and awaken people on the planet. So during this period, the sky gods, Kukulkan, the plumed serpent, and his entourage, from the heavens sent out thousands and thousands of sparks of light that would descend from the heavens and enter the third eye and hearts of those at that moment that were ready to perform the service for spirit. So it sounds unbelievable, but this is really something that happened. And then we also need to ask ourselves, what happened to those souls in 87? Where did they go? This was quite a significant initiation, even though it seems not, because those 144,000 were embedded with the divine light in the third eye. So in particular in the Pituitary gland, where there is little crystals, and one of those crystals were activated. And this allowed the 144,000 to see light, to see the light code and to see the auric lights of those higher beings. Each of these individuals would continue with their spiritual work, almost like each person having a piece of the puzzle, and slowly all the pieces of the puzzle coming together, each person having their own tone, their own frequency and their own note, and the work that was assigned to them by the ancients, and the reactivation of their sacred contracts at that moment, whether they were aware of it or not. And then the stage was further set. 10 years later, in 1996, we had the return of another comet, the Hale-Bopp Comet. And this comet could also be seen with the naked eye. So again, this comet was setting the stage for further change on Earth and preparing for the next stage, which was 2012. And not the end of the world, but the end of the long count Maya calendar that ended at that specific period, and that would restart the count from that moment. So continually in this period, from the time of 1996 all the way up to 2012, souls were given this chance to align and to awaken and to anchor that light into their spiritual bodies. In other words, the higher beings were giving souls a second chance to find their path before the great awakening and the opening of the portals and alignment in 2012. We also think of Earlyne Chaney of Astara, the master who also predicted the coming of these souls and the coming of these changes to our planet. 2012 is a very significant moment for the 144,000 and for other souls that have begun to align and awaken in this process. Because while those planets aligned in 2012, the portals, the ancient portals also opened. These ancient portals would be opened so that the teachings and wisdoms from the higher beings would come through to filter through to humanity. We also need to remember of the Native American tribe, the Hopis. So the Hopi tribe predicted that the Blue Star Kachina would appear in the sky when there would be the end of times and a new world would start. So I'm going to come to this in a later episode if you want to see exactly what's going to take place on the planet. So now, as we've moved beyond this 2012, where do we find ourselves now? So this was an exciting period for the 144,000, because this was a period where they would see, where they would be pulled into the matrix, where they would be initiated, not only seeing visions but experiencing these memories to bring back this lost and ancient wisdom. 144,000 are there doing the work that was assigned to them, the contracts that were activated at that moment. So with the ancient gods that have returned, they have told us that more beings are coming from other solar systems, because Earth is going to go through its own initiation and bring much bigger changes than what we're experiencing now. What we're experiencing now is really just a taste of what is coming. So as we look forward in history, there is coming a really big change. We are leaving, as we move along the red path in this 4 directions of north, east, south and west, we are going to transcend this and move into the 5th element. So we're going to leave the 4th world and move into the 5th world. So we know that the 4 elements, fire, earth, water and air, create our reality that we know. So what is this 5th element? This 5th element is the ether. This is the reality where all the immortals and sky gods live in. This is the reality that humanity must evolve into next. Not only to become wise, but to eventually become immortal. So when the 2 nervous systems in the spinal column have fused, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, then we can handle these cosmic energies that move through the nervous system and through the brain. This period lying ahead is going to bring significant change to the world. It demands change, it demands that we change, and it demands that we change our lifestyles. This change, moving into this 5th world, marks the birth of Aquarius. So we're moving away from the water age, the Piscean age, into the Aquarian age, which is really the space age that's coming, the age of information. And we're only getting a taste of what is coming at the moment. But there does come a turning point that is going to be catastrophic for humanity. We have many markers signaling this time, not only from the Comets and the Great Convergence and 2012 calendar. So now that we passed 2012, what happens now? So now we are entering the final phase, the most critical phase, and you can see the chaos that is taking place in the world. And there's going to come a turning point where there's going to be certain markers that take place. And one of the markers are revealed today, and you can see it behind me. So one of these are going to manifest in our future. There's no one that can stop it. I've seen it. When this takes place, this is one of the first markers, and I'm going to bring some of the other markers on, and then the final event that will cause this massive change in the world. It will change everything for everyone. So as humanity now moves forward into this final step of evolution, into the 5th world that will change everything, you've got to ask yourself, what are you doing for your own development and for that coming time? There's not a lot of time to align and awaken. So this time that lies ahead, we should be utilizing. Now that we're past this important mark of 2012, what lies ahead? Well, change lies ahead, destruction lies ahead. And what also lies ahead is the ancients waiting for you to decide what you do about your destiny, your spiritual growth. Because there'll come a time when you can't say, I didn't know. This change is going to affect everyone. And you don't want to be sleeping when it does take place. And it's not to create panic, because it's still in a while. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see some of these other videos, like and subscribe. I'm also going to, in my next video, bring a way on how to find your soul purpose. It's very, very easy, so if you want to watch that video, hit that notification button, and I'll catch you in the next video.